barbers, cosmetologists, hair industry professionals, and all others who support. Welcome to the hottest podcast in the barber and beauty industry, the Clipped Podcast.
You know what I'm saying? We like to be a little controversial. We like to talk about a little bit of things in the barber industry.
Yeah, barbers, cosmetologists, hair industry professionals, and all others who support. Welcome to the hottest podcast in the barber and beauty industry, the Clipped Podcast. I'm your host, Prince the Fit Barber, with my miraculous co-host, Tank Be Choppin. And today we got a great guest for you guys. It's my boy, Nando, owner of Jack's Elite Barber Expo. Hey, Nando, what's up, man? Welcome to the Clips. Tell the people about yourself and what you got going on, brother.
Man, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here, man. I know we've been talking in every show to make this happen. So the fact that we had time to make it happen is amazing. But just like you said, Nando Courts from Jacksonville, Florida, is in here to represent and talk a little bit more about what the barbering industry is having and some of the new topics that we have going on right now.
Word. All right, so every week on the Clip, we go segment for segment after segment, all controversy, all educational, all motivational, but we always start with Tank. Tank's take. Tank, what you got for us this week, my boy?
All right, man, check it out. I got a good question, and what made me come up with this question or this scenario is something happened last week in the barbershop that I'm going to touch on, and I'm going to ask what y'all feel about this. Gotcha. Basically, we had someone come into the shop, right? And I've been cutting hair 18 years. We have newer barbers in there. We had a walk-in come in, right? I'm sitting down. I just finished my client. I'm sitting down, and he walks in. He's like, "Hey, what's up? Y'all take walk-ins?" And I said, "Yeah, we got you." So I sent them to one of the newer barbers. I was like, "Yeah, hey, Johan, can you take care of him for me?" So the new barber took care, was finna take care of the client. Long story short, the client didn't get what he wanted. It was not what he wanted at all, right? And he was really upset. And when I say really upset, like, dude was ready to fight me over the haircut. He's like, "Why you ain't cut my hair? Why the fuck you ain't cut my hair? You just sitting there on your phone." And I just laughed it off, and I wasn't trying to get into it with this man. But basically, what my question is to y'all is, how do you handle someone who's being borderline aggressive in the barbershop? And when I say borderline, is they talking reckless, they talking out their ass, but they really ain't. They just sitting in the chair still getting their haircut, but they really talking crazy to you. And as a professional, I feel that we kind of gotta have some type of professionalism in the shop. But at the same time, when does that line of disrespect get crossed where you're like, we ain't being professional no more. We about to throw hands or what the situation is, whatever it may be. What is that line, and how do you handle a situation like that?
Yeah,
Prince,
Nando.
Let's ask you first.
Okay, all right.
I ain't mean to cut Nando off. I know Nando has something good to say about this.
Yeah.
Prince, I feel that I can just see it in your face. You ready to react. You ready to respond. So I want to go ahead and talk to you about it.
All right, I'm going to say my piece. I really did want to hear Nando because I respect Nando's professionalism. I know that he will handle it crazy. I really want to hear what he got to say, but he chose me first, so I'll go ahead and say my take. It's really hard for me in those instances, to be honest. That's why I have meetings. Like, I don't have any staff now, but when I had staff in my shop, we'd have meetings on this, on how we're going to handle if anybody gets like out of line like that, because because a lot of barbershops, well, not barbershops, I would say, not in general, but where I'm from, a lot of barbershops, a lot of us have come from the streets, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of us have come from harder backgrounds and stuff like that. So when those guys get yelled at like that, it's kind of rough to tell your barber how to handle it professionally, you know what I'm saying? Like, they be ready to pop off right with the guy, you feel me? So yeah, we've had a lot of talks, and I just basically use what I've learned in my journey, man. I've learned a lot of patience in my journey because I'm from the streets, and I used to be acting reckless, and I'd be ready to pop off. But just in my own personal life, I've learned that never really benefits anybody. Something somebody told me a long time ago is that nobody wins a fight. Either side. There's no such thing as a winner of a fight. You feel me? You're going to lose in some sort of way. You know what I mean? So I just use my patience, man, and I try to talk to people. And what I really, really do is I get bottom line. I get right to the point. You know what I mean? Like, I try not to dilly-dally and, like, you leave room for any argument. I just get right to the point. Like, listen, brother, this man had an appointment. You understand? So we sent you to the new barber. You were okay with sitting in his chair. You let him put the cape on you, the neck strip, and turn his clippers on. At that point, that's the man that's cutting your hair, and you were okay with that. So the outcome of that is between you and him. If you're not fully satisfied, we are sorry. We can rectify it in some type of way. We give you a free haircut next time. We'll see if one of the other barbers are available to hook it up, maybe fix the issue that you're having. We're really sorry that happened to you, but this is the bottom line, man. He's a barber in his own right. He did the best that he could. And if it didn't come out to your pleasure, we're very sorry for that, and we're gonna try to rectify that. But all this rah, we just need to be civil, man. We're just barbers trying to do our job. This is a workplace. You know what I mean? If you buy something from Best Buy and you get home and it has a crack in it, you don't go back and spaz on the guy at the Geek Squad, man. You just simply ask them for a return or you simply ask them to fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have to get so aggressive, and that's just how I talk to people and see how it ends up like that.
That's good. So, Nando, what do you feel about the situation, man? And let me clarify a little bit. When I say this man was upset, he was upset, bro. So let me give you a little backstory too before you answer, and then maybe Prince could chime in too also. So he came in and asked for a high fade. Mind you, he had a lot of hair on top. And he said a high fade. And I stopped what I was doing because I was editing some content. I stopped what I was doing, looked over at the client, and I said, "You sure, bro? You got a lot of hair. You got a taper right now. You're going to cut the taper off." And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to do a high fade." And I said, "All right." You
explained it down to detail. That's crazy.
Even the barber asked him, and he said, "Yeah, a high fade." So the barber proceeded to do the high fade. When he got turned around, he saw it was something that he didn't really like, right? And started just popping off at the mouth. So Nando, what do you think about that, man? What are your thoughts? How would you go about fixing this situation, or not even fixing, just responding to the situation?
Yeah, before Nando answers, was the high fade? Was it a good high fade? Like, it wasn't a messed up haircut. He just didn't want a high fade.
Well, it wasn't even done. Like he got turned towards the mirror a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we got to use our mirror.
And he's seen it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
go ahead, Nando. Talk to him.
Man, I'm going to give you some different scenarios because, with my training and how young I started cutting hair, not only cutting hair, but owning a shop, I've been able to deal with situations like that. So just to give you a little bit of, information, I started cutting hair when I was 13, and I was cutting in my bathroom in my house. And then I went to, to a barbershop at 15. I was full time in a barbershop at 15. By 18, my mom dies, and I go full time into barbering. By 21, I have my shop. Well, but in between 18 to 21, I used to work for a company called Artist Shaving. So they focus on A1 customer service. And of course, situations like that always happen to me. The thing is, like, you need to continue to be a leader, right? A leader is to have the power to influence other to do good. Right. So now that I have multiple barbershop, it's even more challenging because now I got to train people to think and to do certain things how I would do it in the barbershop. The way that I would, first of all, if we look into the industry now, and this is the good thing, the word fade is being a lot more used in the industry. That's exactly why I call my barbershop Fade and Combs. If you look up fade, the word fade is an urban term. It was never used in corporate America. People wouldn't use the word fade because it was really like a street haircut, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know what a fade means. A lot of people don't know fade means all the way down to the skin. So whenever I have a client coming in, I automatically tell them, do you want it to go all the way to the skin, or do you want shadow fade? What is shadow fade? So now we're going into other conversations. So now we need to get into pictures or photograph and having an actual visual of what you really, really want. Because clients don't know how to say what they want nowadays, especially with the industry growing. So one thing that I've learned is to be able to really have a lot of client consultation, which a lot of barbers don't do. They're like, oh, a fade, let me just go ahead and do it. If he was mad, I have a barber that is also like from the streets that he got in a fight with clients and stuff like that. He has changed the way because I'm like, bro, you're 40 years old. How long are you going to continue to do this? And he's like, bro, you really changed my life. Like, you're really teaching me because the way that I see stuff is different now. So that's where the leadership term comes in. I was able to influence to be better. So in that situation you have to like de-escalate that situation, and it's very hard because you know, it's really a pride moment, right? Oh, he's messing with me as a man, but at the end of the day, it's your business, right? So what I try to tell people is like, just because some person acts certain way, that doesn't mean that you have to change and become that person. You're still gonna be you. So like, I have so much to lose because I got 4 barbershops. I'm trying to do a school here. I got an expo. The slight thing that I do is gonna make me look like a douchebag. So I gotta think really like about my kid. I gotta think about my wife. I gotta think about the stuff that I could lose. So so I get it. I mean, I had a situation like that 2 days ago with a client that came, and he came 5 days later. He tells me, "Yo, I need you to fix this." He's like, "But I never did. I never cut the top of your hair, sir." He was like, "Oh, I get it, but I think as a professional courtesy, you should just cut it for free." How do you? I'm like, you're using the wrong term. You're wanting me to fix something that I never did.
Yeah, we
So
never did
unfortunately, if you want this to get fixed, this is how much money it's going to cost you. If you have a problem with the way that that I service you, I can recommend you to someone that fit your needs. I literally just got rid of that client, but he can never say he got mad at me, he treated me wrong. So like, a lot of those things you have to see how to handle it. If it's going to cost you to become a person that you're not, then that's a person that you probably don't want in your business. So how do you effectively get that client out of your barbershop or out of your surroundings without really jeopardizing you or your business? So there's ways, bro. You know, there's always going to be a client that's probably going to leave you a bad review or stuff, but even if you're right, there's always room to grow. So literally just like believe in your faith and believe in the people that surrounding you, not seeing you out of character, and don't let that change you. And just like, you know, a lot of things that I do too, I train my managers. If that's not a haircut that the barber could do at the time, my managers need to jump in and take care of that client and, you know, make him feel like secure. Hey, boss man, I know that obviously what you're getting done is not what you like, but we're gonna get something that eventually we can get a haircut that can enhance your image. You know, we could use words like that, and he's automatically gonna see that you're an educated man and stuff like that, regardless of how you feel or regardless of how you come from. But you know, just try to de-escalate that situations. You know, the best business owners and the best people are the best problem solvers. So you just got to learn how to solve problems.
You know, it's funny when you try to de-escalate the situation and it still doesn't become de-escalated. Like for instance, so back to the story. He was getting a high fade. He wanted a high taper. Come to find out, he really wanted a high taper. So I told, he's looking at me and he's like, well, why couldn't you cut my hair? You knew what I wanted. Mind you, I've never seen this guy in my life. Like, he was a brand new client, right? And I was like, bro, if you would have told me a high fade and I asked you what you were like, what we were doing, and you described this would have been the same haircut you would have got. And he was just so upset because, I mean, obviously bro had like a 6 with the green and a high fade. You know what I'm saying? Like, he wanted a high taper, but it was just bad communication. And I told him, like, man, I'm sorry. There was a miscommunication. I'm sorry you didn't get the haircut you wanted. I said, what can we do to make this right? Nah, bro, just get me out of here. Just line me up and get me out of here. Like, y'all some clowns. Like, he just started just still, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I was ready to give him the best haircut I could give him to fix what he had to try to make him feel better. But he wasn't even hearing it. He was just so upset. He was just popping off at the mouth. And it's like, you know, I'm trying to be professional, but it comes to a point where it's like, bro, like, you're not going to continue to call me out my name, disrespect me repeatedly over and over and over. And you know what I'm saying? So it came to a point where I was like, look, bro, I can call the cops if it's an issue. Like, we can call the cops and, you know, they can handle it. Because I wasn't finna deal with this, man. I'm too old to be dealing with this shit. Bro, I'm 37 years old.
I mean, that's the professional way. I mean, that's what they would do in Best Buy if you started acting crazy like that. They would just handle it the best way, like we all said. And then, they then eventually call the authorities.
Some people you can't help. Like, that dude let that moment get the best of him. So at that moment, like you know, we're going back and forth. I would really be like, yo, what are we arguing about, bro? Like at the end of the day, it's like, you know, what is going to be the solution? Don't talk to me about the problem. What's going to be the solution? I mean, we already know what was wrong. You know, there was a miscommunication. how you want to handle it. Like we could either cut your hair or you can go and get a haircut somewhere else. But we can't keep arguing. So that's really what I would have done. Like if he's gonna continue to be like that, then we have to you know escalate to putting you out, and that's obviously not gonna be good. But I mean,
Not at all. Not at
you
all.
can't please everybody. You can't please everybody.
Man, that was a great subject here on the clips. From what I got from that, Barbers, is listen, man, take that consultation seriously. Have a couple pictures in your phone, maybe. Really try to get, talk to the client and get to a good understanding of what they want before you start cutting. That's usually what I do, man, because I want to avoid those situations at all costs. So I consult the hell out of my clients. Like I talk and talk and talk. I show them some pictures. And anytime you see somebody with a haircut, like Tank was saying, he had a taper and now he's switching it up totally. The haircut that he said is something totally different. Really try and get in detail with it. Be like, yo, listen, man, the fade is going to go up high, but it's going to go all the way around the head, not just in the front and the back like a high taper. So basically, barbers, just really get that consultation in. Put your thoughts in the comments on how you would handle a situation like that. And we're going to move right on to the next segment, which is Prince's Pick. If you're watching, put your thoughts in the comments, but I'm going to start with Tank, and I'm going to ask, what's more beneficial, owning a barbershop, having people work for you and working in there, or just working in a lucrative barbershop that's really busy? Which one is more beneficial financially for a barber? To own their own establishment, have to pay all utilities, all bills, handle everything, just like in the last segment, have to train your staff to handle any rowdy clients, or just save all your money and work in someone's barbershop? What do you think, Tank?
Man, so honestly, the way I feel about it is it depends, right? Like, I've listened to a couple barbershop owners, and a lot of them, obviously they're doing good, However, they say a lot of times what comes with owning a barbershop is managing other people, a bunch of other people's headaches, learning to get the right people in there. So I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing either, right? So I think it just depends on where you're at in life. If you just had a new kid, if you're new to barbering, if you just bought a house, if you're doing something new in your life, I would say probably getting a shop or owning a shop isn't in the cards for you. Maybe right now. Not saying in the future it's not, right? But it's just so much going on. However, I do feel that if you do own a barbershop, obviously, if you learn how to do everything properly when it comes to owning, maintaining, managing, doing all that, you can be very, very successful doing that. And there's some barbershop owners that they own a shop, but they really ain't successful. They got barbers in the shop who are just barbers doing better than them financially, because it's not always about ownership. Everyone always thinks ownership, ownership, ownership. You got to own a barbershop to be successful. And I don't think that's 100% true, because I know a lot of barbers who don't own shops, but they're just in shops working as a booth rent barber, and they're doing great. They're buying property. They got their wife, their kids, everyone. I don't want to say everyone's successful, but everyone's doing good. So it's like you don't necessarily have to own the shop to be successful. But I think if you put the right things in place, obviously owning a barbershop can be better. But if you don't want the stress and the headache of all this, then maybe just doing booth rent and building yourself up, getting your demand high is probably the best thing for you in that situation. But once again, it's just based on preference.
Word. You saying that make sure you have the time and effort to be able to put into the shop once you open it up. Yeah. Nando, what you think, man?
Yeah.
Sorry, Tank. What was you gonna say?
No, you're good. I was just gonna elaborate on what you said, but you hit the nail on the head.
All right, word.
I really like everything that I'm hearing. I think that the real question should be, what is success, right? Because success is different for everybody. Success to some people might be having money, to success to some people might be having a family. And it's like I said in a previous podcast that I was talking to, is like, what is true success, right? Because you can make a lot of money cutting hair, but have a bad shop. Just because you're a good barber and you're making money doesn't mean your barbers are doing good. You can have both. You can have a lot of money and you can have a successful shop, but you might have a broken home. You can have all three. You can have a successful shop, a lot of money, and a good home, but you don't talk to your, you're not a good friend, or you're not a good father. So like, what is success to you?
Yeah.
So one of the greatest things that I had, and I'm going to share this moment that I really haven't shared it with everyone. When my mother died, I went to a church and God told me exactly how he was going to bless me financially, family, and health. And to me, it didn't make sense because I was down. The best person in the world to me died. I don't have anybody that pushes me anything. And he truly blessed me. So What happened is when God gave me the shops, the family, everything, I just started throwing it down. And you know, he confronted me again. He was like, "What are you doing? What I gave you?" So I started at 21, and one thing that a lot of people think successful is that you got to work. And to be honest, is you need to be able to delegate. If you're not able to create other leaders, you will not be able to grow. You will not have a good structure. You will not have a good system. Having a system is very important. The partner that you pick in this industry is very important. Her understanding that you're going to travel, that you need to put in overtime to be able to get a successful business, you know, to explain it to your kid, to tell your kid, hey, daddy's doing this because I want to work so your college chances are better or your working chances are better, you know, just explaining that all across the board. So now, really, the way the industry is now, you could be successful either way, right? You could own a studio and charge anywhere from $50 to $500 a haircut. There's really no cap right now.
No ceiling.
You know, it depends on what you cut. No ceiling. So, or you could have a barbershop, and if you're like me, where you started opening barbershops very early in the city of Jacksonville, they didn't have a lot of barbers when I was coming in. I started early. I was able to create a blueprint and a platform for all of my barbers so they can make money. So now my barbers are making money. I'm making money. If I go up on prices, some of my clients that cannot afford my prices now can go to a new barber. So, any system is successful as long as you know, as long as you have a plan. As long as you have a plan. But the thing is, the most important thing is when you have a barbershop, your plan cannot be just for yourself. Your plan has to be for everybody that you're employing, because even though people want to say, oh, I'm self-employed, no, at the end of the day, you're still employed here, because everybody knows that a barber is self-employed until they got to go on vacation. Everybody's the boss until they have to be a boss, right? Oh, I got to go on vacation. Give me a month of free booth rent. Well, if I go for a month, they're not going to give me the rent here. So it's really educating and making everybody understand and building managers that can be you when you're not there. You know, I want to design a good barbershop to where when somebody walks in here, everybody's so good that you don't know who the owner is. I want to design a barbershop that I don't need to be there for the barbershop to run, because everybody is behaving as a manager. So I think that it depends what you want, you know? If you want more time, and if you want to be more free and not have as many problems, then you need to be on a studio where you get to you know, control your time, and you only have to worry about you. If you want to get money, but you want to get some situations where you might have to resolve, well, that's owning a barbershop. But you know that you're gonna have to go into training, because to be honest, my managers don't really call me when I'm traveling on to an expo. They don't call me. They know how to solve it. And the way that I structured it is they have a business, a card with their name, with a limit, right? So like if they need to go buy an air filter or cleaning supplies or stuff, they could do it. They don't need me for that. They don't need me. If they want to run an ad online, they could do it because they have the card. So you have to let your managers or your barbers know that there is room to grow. Once you let people that there is room to grow in your company, they're gonna be like you know, and you know, and you have to understand that not everybody's like that. So I mean, there's rooms in both sides. It's more really what you will want. You know, if you want to be a leader that can. And the reason that I chose to have a barbershop is because I wanted to be a pillar in the industry, not just, you know, I wanted to be a pillar in the industry by educating, by giving people opportunities to grow and better opportunities that I had myself. So the real question is like where you could be more successful. The real question is what success mean to you, and then you know you go from there.
There's one thing you said, Prince, and I think Nando, and I think Prince is gonna agree with me. Is you said something about you know, if everyone is successful and you're the barbershop owner, that's that you're teaching others how to be successful. That's something that you said earlier that kind of stood out, and something that you want to do. And I just wanted to touch on that real quick, because I think Jay-Z said it. I don't know the exact quote, but it was, we don't measure success by how successful you are, but how many people around you are successful.
Yeah.
Right? Like, or how many people you help make successful. Something like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something similar. And I think that's something really that people need to think about, because like you said, like, being successful doesn't necessarily mean one or the other thing, right? But when you're doing great, your homie's doing great, your homie next to you's doing great, when everyone around you is doing great, y'all gonna continue to lift each other up more and achieve more success, opposed to if it's just one person doing great, then you're gonna have everyone else around them kind of looking at them like hating on them.
Exactly. Yeah, I got another. Go ahead, Nando.
If you're successful, but in order for you to get to your success, you have to step on people's, well, then that's really not success, because you don't have any dignity and any as a man, So like, success is also being able to have money, but when you stand in a corner, can you hold your head up high, knowing that you did right by everybody? And you also have to understand that not every friend you're gonna be able to save, and not every friend you're gonna be able to help, because some people think that by you putting them in a way to be successful is you giving them something. I'm not gonna give you anything. You're gonna earn everything. Why? I'm gonna give you an opportunity. What you do with that opportunity is up to you. And it's like I told my cousin. I got my cousin works with me. He's 21 years old. He's making like $8,000 a month right now, and he's 21. And I was like, he's like, a lot of people, oh, but you started him from the ground. You didn't give him a chair. No, I didn't give him a chair. I didn't give him anything. I gave him an opportunity, and I started him from the ground, because if I give you everything, you're not gonna know how to value it. So I can't come to him and tell him, I gave you this. No, you earned it. You earned it. I gave you the blueprint and the opportunity, and you earned it. So you have to make sure that everybody feels like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I got another Jay-Z one for you, Tank. If everybody in your clique is rich, your clique is rugged. Nobody will fall, because everyone will be each other's crutches. That was that. Yeah, that's been sticking to me all my life, man. You got to make sure all the people around you are right. So my take is, man, like they chopped it up. They both said it all, man. What does success mean to you stood out for me, and then what Tank said. Make sure that you have the time and your life, everything else, and yet you can't be juggling family, work, health, all those things at one time. It's very hard. When you open your shop, you should definitely have the time and effort to be able to build, so that you can do what Nando said, build that good team around you. Because if you just open a shop and you just hire people, again, everything I'm saying is what you guys already said. If you open a shop and you just hire people, but you have to pay attention to your own life outside of the shop all the time. Now you're not building that structure, and you're not building that team to be able to manage it the way you would when you're not there. You're just hiring a bunch of guys and collecting their blueprint and hoping it works out, and that's no good. Also, what Nando said with the what does success mean to you is very important to me. The reason why this is Prince's pick today is because this is something I'm struggling with. I don't have any barbers working right now, and it's getting very stressful, and I have a lot of other things in my life going on, and it's like, damn, even if I do get a barber in here, it's like, do I even have the time to manage him, to get him up to par to the way I need him to be, so that this can run successful and we'll be on the same page. So it's getting very stressful. So that's why Prince's pick is what it is today. But I like what Nando said, where it said, what does success mean to you? Because the reason that keeps me going no matter what, and that I'm not going to fold and go work in another shop and just leave the dream alone, is because my definition of success is, legacy. Like because all the money and stuff we don't bring with us. You're going in a casket by yourself, but what you leave behind. So I am a pillar of the community. I have a nonprofit called Barbershop Therapy, where we help people with mental health. I'm with the UMass Medical Center here. They come in, they do mental health checks and screenings once a month. Partnership. I have a partnership with the hospital. I have a nonprofit called Barbershop Therapy. So all those things don't make me too much money, you know what I mean? But they're helping my community. They're helping people get better. They're helping people that was in a position like me get out of those positions. We help them find jobs. We help them stay out of prison. We help them stay off drugs. So that is success to me. If I'm helping someone do all of that, that's success to me. And I can do that by having my own establishment. So that's why I stay in the game of ownership and not go to make, because I know for a fact that if I stop paying all the bills in here, I'd be able to go work in somebody else's shop, and I'd be able to focus on my life and also stack probably more money than I'm stacking right now. But success to me means helping out the community, and Palace Elite Barber Spot to me does that. So that's why I stay in the game. Nando, you was gonna say something?
And another thing, like a lot of people focus so much about money. Like, it takes years for you to have an overnight success. What I mean by that is like,
Yeah.
people say, oh, you had an overnight. No, I've been doing this for a while. Like, if you look at Amazon, and Amazon is a company that I like because they were in a garage in the 1990s.
In the 90s,
They had losses. They had losses for 20 years. Now he's a multi-billion. Oh, he's so successful. Well, how come you weren't saying he was successful in early 2000? He was just as successful. It's just the amount of money wasn't there. So like it just came. He had a vision. So like we have to understand that not everybody's gonna see what we see. That's why we're entrepreneurs. We're the 1% that nobody wants to see. So that's when I named myself on social media. I didn't name myself as a barber. Yes, barbering is what I started, but I'm Nando Courts. I do more than that. Like I influence, I do so much more. But it's tough, man. It's tough. And just to even add to what you were saying, you got to communicate it. Like one of the best things that I learned when things go stressful, one thing that I didn't do was communicate. I didn't communicate because when my mother died, I felt so alone, and for 10 years I didn't communicate to anybody, and it brought problems with my relationship with my father, with my brothers, with my wife, with my kid, because I never communicated. And the moment that I started communicating, my life started going better. So like communicating is that you have to tell your wife, hey, I'm putting down some of the family time that we got because I have to pay attention to the shop right now. So that shop time might look like it's a little bit more now, or that barber show. But once that show is done and once that barbershop is popping, now we're going to Cancun, now we're going to Tennessee, now we're going to switch it. So you got to have a balance. A lot of people think that the balance is going to be like right there, 50-50. But no, in reality, that family time might be higher at that moment, So you need to be able to communicate it. If the circle that you have around you does not allow you to communicate and open up, you're in the wrong circle.
Word. Yeah, that was a crazy topic, man. Crazy segment here on the clip. Valuable information. You guys put your thoughts in the comments, man. Work in somebody's shop and stack all your money, or go jump into the business of ownership. What do you think? We're here to hear you out on the clip. Let us know. We're going to jump into the last segment, which is Shop Talk. Today on Shop Talk, we got a good conversation piece because we actually have Expo owner. So today's conversation on Shop Talk is, are there too many expos being popped up everywhere? We look every month, every Sunday, somewhere in America, there's an expo going on every single Sunday. A lot of people are saying it's saturating the game. A lot of people like myself are loving it. I love Barber Expos. I love when they pop up, especially when they make me the host. So yeah, man, what do you guys think? Tell us in the comments. Tank, what's up, man? What do you think? They oversaturating the game, or is this what the game needs?
I think, I'm glad you brought this up, man, because we kind of touched on it a little bit when we had man, I lost. I forgot.
Who was it?
Lonnie and Tamel. What's the name of it?
Yep. For the culture.
Yeah, when we talked about it with them. It's. I think, I don't want to say it's getting oversaturated. And why I say that is because there's like levels of these Barber Expos. There's like the great ones, CT, LV, BarberCon, ones like that. Like everyone knows those. Everyone's going to those. And then you have some that are just local, some that are a little bigger, that they're for the state. So I don't think it's getting oversaturated because there's different ones for different people. You have the ones that are always popping off in your neighborhood or in your city more frequently, but those are for the people in the city, you know what I'm saying? And then you got a couple of them that are bigger that, you got the Texas Barber Expo that a lot of people probably don't travel to come to, but a lot of people in Texas travel to that one city to go to it. And then you have the bigger ones, like I said, CT and LV, where people are traveling across country to go to. So I think there's different tiers of these Barber Expos. And I enjoy all of them, bro. Like, honestly, like when I go to the smaller ones, I love it because like, when I go to the ones here in my city, when it's just like someone throwing it that I know, it's always love, but it's like, it's not like, how can I say this? Like, I'm just Tank. I'm not Tank Be Choppin to them, right? Like, they've known me. They've known me as a barber for years. I've known them. And so it's like, we just kick it, chill. I don't really have to worry about making too much content. And then like, when I go to LV, not that people don't know me personally, but it's like, I'm creating content there, right? Like I'm trying to put the right foot forward. I'm trying to meet some more people. I'm trying to, put myself in better positions. So it's different, you know what I'm saying? And not to say that I don't enjoy them all, because I do, but that's just my take on it. I don't think think that it's getting oversaturated. I just think that it's different. But that's just me. Like I said, y'all may have a different opinion on that.
Nando, what you talking about?
Well, man, I'm gonna speak about it in different views, right? Because I go to shows, I do a show. I also go to show as a spectator. I go to show as an educator. I go to show sometimes as a host. I go to a show with vendors. So I'm gonna speak about it in different ways because a lot of people.
That's true. I never even really thought about that. I've seen you at a lot of shows, and you're right. You be in a lot of different capacities. I'll see you in a vendor booth cutting hair. I'll see you hosting. I'll see you doing education. You got your own. Actually, your input is very valuable. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So let's start by because you know how Tank was saying different tiers, different stuff. Let's start by saying that comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah. So whenever you start something, no matter how small it is or how big it is, don't ever compare it to anything. It's your thing and you did it, because once you start comparing, then it takes away your joy. I started doing my show. I started going to shows in 2017. I won my first competition in 2017. And then I started going to every show, and I think I have like 10 trophies, which I got them hanging right here. And in my room, but I felt like my purpose was bigger. I was like, yeah, I want to compete, but I want to do bigger. And that's when I started doing my show. 2019, I do my first show, sold out. I think I could have filled like 280 people, 350 people came out. Man, that thing was so packed that the Habibi booth, like they knocked down his glasses because people literally couldn't stand in the room. Then the next year, COVID happened. We had it in a club. And everybody got COVID, and then we started doing it at convention centers. So that's when
you said everybody caught COVID.
Yeah,
everybody caught COVID. Everybody caught COVID that year.
That's what I thought I heard, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Man, that thing was so packed. If the fire marshal would have went in there, they would have shut us down. But really, when my mentality changed is when I had to go to convention centers. Because, in convention centers, you got to think about insurance. You got to think about paying for the venue. You got to think about paying for staff. You got to think about paying for police officers. You got to think about paying for pipe and drape, signs. You got to think about paying for stage, lighting, Barber View. Just shout out to them, because, paying for them or like having to negotiate with a vendor. All these things happen. And then next thing you know, since you were comparing yourself to this show, now you're up 80,000, 100,000. So it's very, very, very expensive to do a show, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's oversaturated, but I think that there's a lot of people that are doing it, and I get upset when somebody does it and they don't do it with their with all their energy. Because I'm very passionate about barbering, and this is what saved my life. So when you half-ass something, I'm mad because, bro, you got people, you got vendors that pay to come here. You got people that wanted to come to compete. It's like almost like Kobe, you paying to see LeBron or Kobe play, and then you don't see them play. You're like, bro, like, don't disrespect the game, right? So it's the same way in barbering. So when I started going as an educator, I started getting upset because if the event coordinator and the brands are not connecting, you're not going to have a successful class. So that's going to be bad for the educator. If you're not promoting properly, and this is both. This is from the vendor aspect and from the event coordinator. You both have to promote, because how many times I've been to a show, I didn't know you was here. That means that you did a bad show. Letting people know. So like, whose fault is it? So like, it's very, very hard. If you're an educator, promote it. It doesn't cost you anything to say, hey, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be doing this, and all of that stuff. And if you're an event coordinator, put the energy to it, because what happening is, if you have a show in Texas, Texas is bad to compare, because Texas is, they don't need anybody. Texas is so big. You do a show in Texas and it's gonna just show up. We're just gonna show up. Yeah, I've never seen a bad show in Texas. Florida. I'm from Florida. let's say you have a big show, which right now probably mine's is one of the biggest ones. If you go to my show, um, some people expected something good, and you know, I go and talk to people and I tell them, hey, how can we get better? And then next year I go get better. But then you have somebody that 2 months later does that at a club, which there's nothing wrong with doing that at a club because I did it at clubs. But you know, when you did it at clubs, every time that they're going to compete, the power keeps falling because they use blow dryers. And you're like, oh, this happens every year, so don't complain. Bro, that's the wrong way to do it because you got people that are paying to come in here. You got people backing up. Like, you know, you got vendors that paid and then you got the power running. Like, do your due diligence and do the right stuff to have a successful show. So it's not a matter that it's saturated. It's a matter of a lot of people are doing show just to do it and they don't bring anything to the game. So if you're not going to bring anything and you're not going to value people, don't do it. Don't do it because then it's hurting shows of people that are really trying to put something in. Also, another thing, if you're a new show, a lot of people, oh, but well, you gave CT 30,000. Yeah, but you're not CT. You got to work your way up to that. So like, don't make every relationship transactional. Don't make every relationship transactional. If you have somebody that is coming to your show, but they don't want to give you that 10 grand, but they'll give you 25, be a Rick Ross and don't leave any money on the table. Take the money and build a relationship.
And I think too, man, it's like you said earlier, like comparison is a thief of joy. Just be happy you're getting something because there's some people throwing shows who aren't getting shit. Like they're literally doing it from the ground up, putting all their money into it. So if you're getting anything, be happy for that because a lot of these companies aren't just sponsoring any show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But, and also, one more thing, if you want to have a successful show, you just got to show love. The reason a lot of people travel to my show is because I go to Texas, I go to Cali, I go to all these places, you know. And the thing is, like, I don't break the bank anymore for my show because I give value to them the same way that they give value to me. So sometimes some value is not really money. Sometimes if you could help me in other things, that's value. So just try to be valuable in other areas, but you know, create that value. You can't just ask for something. Now you see me going to less shows. I go to certain shows because now I got a sponsor. I got a company that I'm working for. I got Coco that I'm educated for. I got that Urbanist that I'm educated for. So now I've already got enough value to where some companies are bringing me out. So yes, if I do go to a show, it's gonna cost you something because if I leave on a Saturday, if you want, let me tell you, if you're doing a show and you want me there Saturday, I can make $1,000 on Saturday. So I'm not going for less than 1,500. You know, now if you're driving distance, well, we can work something out. But you have to understand that, you know, hosts and educators got a price. If you cannot pay the price, try to go through their brand, you know, so you don't have to spend that much money. And if not, try to go out to their show. Try, you know, hey, I'll show love, add value. Just don't do it just something to do it. Add value and do it right.
Absolutely. So that's where I'm at with it. That's my take on it, really. Like I said, I love going to Barber Expos. I love it. I get asked to host a lot of them. I love to hop on the mic and shake the energy up in the room. That's my pleasure. But all I ask is the same thing my brothers is asking, man. If you're coordinating the show, do it with passion, do it with your heart. Because the one thing I hate, especially as the host, like when I'm up there hosting and at the end and we have to give away awards, I hate to see like people that paid. I know the vibes, even though I haven't competed. I know the vibes of spending your last before I would get paid to host or get paid to judge or get flown out to educate, I was coming out of my own pocket to do these things. And it's not easy. And we're doing it because we love this shit. Like you said, somebody could love Chicago Bulls and they're going out there and then Jordan don't play or Pippen don't play. You're like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So these guys that are competing, a lot of them, man, they're just barbers working a 9 to 5 in a barbershop, man. And they're taking their hard-earned money to get on that plane. Some guys are paying videographers to come with them. And for them to not get that great experience and for them to not feel the passion in the room or feel like the the coordinator didn't do a great job at setting stuff up, they have to wait, or they don't have chairs to sit at, or they have to grab their own chair at there, find a plug for themselves. Stuff's just not coordinated right or set up right. I hate that for them. And then the vendors that are coming out and, you know, they're trying to push their product, man. They're paying their own way there, and they're paying for the booth, and they're trying to get rid of that product. Like, you're making it so, if you make it so it's not worth it for the vendors, now it's not worth it for spectators, because the spectators, for anybody, because if not worth it for the vendors, it's not worth it for anybody. So if you're putting something together, man, out of the love for the industry, man, we love it. We travel, we come and we support. Make sure you put in your passion and your energy and your heart into it. That's all we asking.
And one more thing to add to it, your team has to be good too, because you know, your hospitality has to be A1. Like, one thing that I learned, and I learned this throughout the years, this is not something that I had my first year. Take care of your vendors and take care of the people. Like, oh, I paid them, or they paid, oh, they should figure it out. No, man, if you have a host, offer him water. Hey, did you eat? Do you have water? Have somebody that is catering to that, like the hospitality. Go to we understand that not all vendors are going to sell everything, so hey, how can we get better for next year? Because if that vendor comes and he don't sell well, how can you get better? How can you do it better? You know, sometimes you're not going to have a vendor come for one or two. Let me tell you this: if you have a vendor that didn't sell this year, but you gave them a good hospitality, then next year when you have 10,000 people, or 3 years later, they'll come back because their experience was still good. They just didn't sell. So, you know, those are just L's that you have to take and learn from it. You know, I don't ever lose. I don't ever lose. I only win or I learn. I don't ever, my L is not for losing, it's for learning.
It's for lesson,
Yes, exactly.
Learn, baby.
Yo, good takes, guys. And like we said, man, make sure you bring your heart and put your heart into everything in this barber industry. When I'm the host, man, I'm up there and I'm shouting out vendors every time. Yo, go get the BV&D shirts. Yo, go get your heavy product. Yo, go get this, go get that. When I'm the host, I make sure I shout out all them vendors just to make them feel comfortable and get them a little hospitality. So yes, good segment, great segment. Put your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Is it oversaturated, or is this what the game needs? So here on the clip, we like to leave y'all with a little motivational segment at the end. The motivational segment, the motivational piece that I'm gonna tell y'all is never give up on your hopes and dreams, no matter how hard it's getting. Through all the segments today, what we've learned is bring passion, bring energy, and don't quit, and know what success means to you, and put your heart into things. As long as your heart's in the right place, never give up on your dreams. Don't let anybody discourage you or say you can't do what you know you can do. Here on the clips, we love y'all. We hope to hear from you in the comments. We're out for today, but make sure you tap in next Thursday at 7 p.m. We love y'all. Love, peace, and hair grease.